What's going on YouTube? Your boy's back with another video, and before I start at all, I gotta get out the way. Y'all can probably tell the terrible mic quality. I am back home in Los Angeles before the major, so I'm recording a quick vid. I don't have my fancy mic set up or my face cam or anything like that. It's just a quick vid I wanted to get done for y'all, so that way we can have some vids rolling through the major. I don't have a decently long break. But that being said, today's video is a spicy one. Now, everyone knows, or most of my followers probably know, maybe we'll get some new subs. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're on the road to 50K. But yeah, in the pro scene, there's a big rumor of Daniel possibly joining V1 in replace of Torment. Now, this is all rumors. I have no knowledge of anything happening, but I'm going off the rumors, and I'm going to be making a video today about it. So what we'll be doing, as we can tell, we'll start right here. We'll be watching Daniel and SSG this past split. And watching what he does well, watching how he plays, and then we're going to be watching a V1 replay and seeing how they play, and seeing maybe what we can tell from the two replays of how maybe both sides will impact each other negatively or positively. Positively? I can't say that word, Jesus. You know what I mean though. Sorry, my brain is mush. But yeah. So right off the rip, this is last split, so this is a pretty recent replay. Furia versus SSG, pretty crazy match for group stage, and SSG actually does end up taking this series. And I wanted to see replays where SSG played well, because everyone knows as we see that's a crazy play by Furia. Well done by Yans. One thing we do know is that SSG had a very poor split for their standards. They didn't make major. They weren't very close either, to be honest. It was so in their hands, but they lost 2 times to Dig. If they win those 2 times, boom, they're at the major. So it's not like they didn't have a chance. It was just their own doing. But very poor split by their standards. And I think what we're seeing right now, in my opinion, is a kind of a situation with First Killer, if you've seen my previous video. I feel like Daniel does not play the most team-oriented Rocket League. And he's very individually insane. Everyone knows that. But you can't just be individually insane and win yourself series. Like First Killer used to do that, and obviously he'd win here and there, never consistently. But now First Killer and his team developed a more team-based play style, and they've seen 10 times the success, right? I do think that's a problem with Daniel, where not a problem, but I think he's obviously young, and with a lot of hype, he probably feels pressure to be the guy individually. So playing SSG, I know for a fact it didn't feel very team-based, and obviously that it's still tough to deal with because Daniel's super good and can beat you with crazy plays, but it's definitely not as stressful as playing a well-coordinated team. That's a good pass right there. But as we'll probably see, let's get in a little bit more analysis. Daniel is definitely more of a not patient, but a farther back player. And as I'm saying, Daniel's not a team player. He's passing out dimes. My bad. I'm just lying. But yeah, I was going to say Daniel's more the third man, goes back for boost a lot, assesses the play, sees what's going on. And in this case, if the rumors are true, Torment, who's obviously V1's kind of hard third man, would be the one getting replaced. So maybe this would fit in. Or maybe they'd create a whole new play style. Maybe Daniel would want to try something new. You never know, right? But as you can see, right here. So Daniel doesn't have a great touch. He just leaves it. And he kind of just, so I don't know if this is poor communication. This is a tough situation, to be honest. This isn't really anyone's fault, but the way they play this, someone needs to be challenging this ball. And I don't know if it's poor communication, whether it should be LJ or Daniel, but one of them should be challenging this ball. And in my head, it would be Daniel because LJ's behind him, so he is a better LJ knows what's going on, has a better view of the play, where Daniel just stays on the play, and obviously he gets a good save, but it results in kind of SSG staying in defense, because LJ would have had a better touch, more forward, more direct instead of just straight side, and it results in this pressure, but again, which ends up leading to a goal. But right there, it's just you can tell Daniel's instincts were to go straight back to net, because maybe he doesn't trust his team on defense, whatever it may be. Maybe it's just the way he's not even trusting his team, but it's just his natural instincts. And that's a very common thing, is where players they struggle challenging for their teammates. Even though their challenge might be useless and literally might mean nothing, it in the long run is the best play, because it helps your teammate behind you and helps the team overall. So that's just a quick thing. But honestly, that one was tough because I would never blame Daniel. It's more of a comms thing because it looks like Daniel said what he was going to do and LJ probably should have read it, or the other way around. I don't know. It could have been either one's ball, but obviously his communication was poor. Daniel does a very good job of reading the play of when to waste boost, not waste boost, but when to use boost and when not to. Because like that play right there, he had 0 boost, but he took his time, kind of stayed composed. Good job switching the field. And then he gets the ball right back, and he can do something mechanical. He's threatening it, and because of that, his mechanics, you know, Fury has to watch out for it. So obviously Daniel's not going to get on the score sheet here. Very good job of switching the field, just knowing where the space is. And then he actually screws it up, but his mechanics are such a threat that Card and Lost have to wait for it. So then Arsenal knows, with, again, good communication, they make a team play out of it, which leads to a goal. And Daniel doesn't even get an assist, but a lot of that is because of the threat of Daniel's mechanics. So as we can see, Daniel's team is pressuring, and he is very chill to let the other two just ball chase, like keep going, and he's just gonna sit back with 100 boost, not wasting a single ounce of it. And literally, he just moved up from the half line for the first time in 20 seconds. Like you could tell, he's very passive or very hesitant to commit. He would rather just let his teammates maybe do the dirty, I guess the quote unquote dirty work, the challenges for him, so the ball could spill out to him, and he can have a little bit of a solo play. Super good challenge. That's just like, a lot of those challenges that's smart, but it's just mechanically like, it's just a mechanically well done challenge because he can cover anything from that spot. It's a lot of 1v1s and a lot of good play by Arsenal, but a lot of experience in 1v1s and 2v2s, knowing how to challenge what works and what doesn't. But as we can see this replay, Daniel's very much not a super fast player, but he knows when to be in the play. He likes to play his passive sometimes. He likes to take the ball himself. He likes to switch the field. He does a little bit of everything. So now let's head into a V1 replay and see how V1 plays and maybe see where Daniel could impact those games. And we're back. This is the final regional. This is M80 versus Version 1. And Version 1, another team that had a very poor split by their standards. Did not make the major. We're not very close either. Well, they were close, but, you know, it came down. They weren't top 6 in the running before the third regional. I think this was a tough split for them because they had a really good major performance. They lost to a Seek they probably thought they should have beat, and because of that, even though they were probably a top 2 or 3 team in North America, top 3 for sure. Their performances have always been like they never reached a grand final in a major. So they thought they needed a change. All this rumor stuff about Rise happens. They're gonna kick Calm. It falls through, so they stick with Calm. And obviously that's a mental battle right there. You know, just on Calm side, knowing you were the one that's gonna get kicked. Now you have to come play again. Obviously you can work things out, but it's never gonna leave the thought. So it's definitely tough to deal with for sure. And I also think they try to change play styles a little bit, and that's always super tough to do in the middle of a split or middle of a season, because it's so hard to just break habits right away. But yeah, so let's just notice what V1 might be doing compared and see what Daniel might bring to the team. So obviously everyone knows I'm watching Beast Mode, and Beast Mode is very like Daniel, not super passive but super solo play heavy. He creates a lot of V1's offense. As I was saying, Beast Mode creates a lot of V1 offense and a lot of bumps and demos you know from Torment and Calm that create that space and allow Beast Mode to have that space as well to make plays. But it is tough on him to, you know, to create those plays consistently. And as you can see in that goal, I think V1's, Achilles heel was giving up open nets, because they look like, you can obviously tell anyone who watched V1 was a very defensive team. They would win games 1-0, 2-1, super low scoring. Almost parked the bus. So it seems like they were trying to switch to a more aggressive playstyle, which is obviously something they're not used to. And I watched them give up more open nets in a couple of regionals more than their entire year of teaming together. What a play. Right off the rip though. So as you can see, they're starting to be more aggressive. Good play by Calm to just get a beat, and then Beast Mode does the rest with a nice mechanical double. Beast Mode and Daniel will be a crazy mechanical threat duo. But I won't lie, I do think Beast Mode recently has been falling a little bit into that same tier I was talking about with Daniel, where it feels like they don't trust their teammates. He doesn't trust his teammates as much, where everyone knows how individually crazy they are, so they try and do everything themselves. Not everything themselves, but they feel like they have to maybe carry a load because for their teammates, because they don't trust them as much as they used to or what they used to think. So they try and become more self-reliant and try and make everything happen themselves. And obviously, I think that if they team up together, Beast Mode and Daniel in this case, hopefully that could help, where they don't become as self-centered and so ball-heavy, where everything's just kind of, again, like I said with SSG, playing V1 is not easy, but it's super easy. It's not super easy, but it's super easy compared to playing a Gen G or FaZe, where we know we just have to, not focus, but we just know everything's going to run through Beast Mode. Because Beast Mode, a lot of times, is going to be the ones, like, there's not going to be a lot of passing. There's not going to be a lot of, like, solo plays from the other two. And, again, if you just focus on a certain player, you just play their challenges properly, no matter how good they are, you should be fine. But yeah, I do think that First and our Beast and Daniel are like First, where they're one little step away, where if they play super team oriented, they can become consistent and successful players, like winning tournaments consistently, not just like regionals here and there. And I don't think Beast Mode and Daniel aren't team players at all. I just think they not struggle. What's the word? I just think they don't really have a consistent, if you're always seeing someone talk about Beast Mode needs help, Beast Mode, this guy needs help, that means that the team's way too individual based. Rocket League, and as you can see recently, Carmine Corp, Gen G, FaZe even now, it's the most team oriented it's ever been. So if you're saying a player needs help, that means that that team's either playstyle or their foundation is not working, or is not successful, because one player should not be the way to go. So saying someone needs help, and the thing that I mean is, because if you're saying a player needs help, that probably means that the other two might be making mistakes or not scoring as much goals. But in all reality, like with Daniel and Beast Mode's teams, his teammates are probably, I'll say Torment and Calm, and then I'll say LJ and Arsenal. They're very much probably most likely playing around those two players, right? Where what a team in reality should be doing is should be playing in a way that makes everyone play to their peak potential, and everyone help each other out. Everyone make each other better. But if they're saying that just one person is doing it all, then that's obviously not happening there, because that's just not how it should be going. As we can see, OT here, and I think one thing we'll see is a lot, cleaner defense, just because Daniel's one of the better defensive players, clinical on defense. So a lot, when we see Daniel join, I think the defense will become not super insane, because they already had insane defense with Torment, just because that's what he does. But I think one thing we'll be able to see is definitely just a better offensive game, where I think, like here, V1's offensive game isn't very great when it comes to keeping pressure. As I say that, I make a nice play. But V1 was never known for their offensive pressure and keeping teams held in and just mechanical plays. There's a lot of the other team makes mistakes, a lot of bump plays, which will still happen. But now I think with Daniel joining, they'll have the ability to create more solo plays, create more pressure, and maybe make the opposing team make more mistakes because of their mechanical threat. But I do expect a lot more fast passing plays, probably a lot more unexpected ones. But I think mainly the main difference you'll see is probably more of an overall game instead of a defensive one. But again, I think it's going to be super dependent on if, they get Calm involved. Because if they get Calm involved, then that's when that team becomes really good, and probably a top 2 team in NA instead of maybe a top 2, 3, or 4 or 5. Because again, even if it's one player carrying, 2 players carrying does not beat a team that is a cohesive unit. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about these rumors, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe. The road to 50K. Come on, we're slowly growing. I would love to see just a jump, because I know a lot of you that watch these videos probably aren't subbed. I don't want to call you out, but just leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.